Nations speech in was it the 1980s?
Yeah.
Do you remember that speech?
Yep. Well,
See if
I don't
you can
remember
find
it, but
that.
I remember learning about it.
He talked about how united we would all be if the threat of an alien invasion was happening on Earth, how quickly we would put aside our differences.
Well, that's why we have the red phone with Russia, right? To
Is it really red? Is it really red?
Yeah, it used to be. I'm sure it's a text message now. But
I wonder if they even have a phone anymore.
Well, they do, and they do with China as well now. Although it's less.
But
public.
is it like a phone? Like hello? Like
I
you hold
honestly
it up
don't
to your
know the
ear?
structure of it. It used to be, but it was there in order to. Oh, let's watch
Let's
this.
hear this.
All the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war? 2 centuries ago, in a hall much smaller than this one, in Philadelphia, Americans met to draft.
Hell of a speech.
Yeah. Maybe it's time for another one.
Yeah. If they know, tell us. It'd be good. Be good if you let us know. And if we did have disclose, what can you imagine? Let's imagine that you get into this position and it's your job to get this information out to the public. What kind of resistance do you think you're going to face? Because it seems like if there's been deals that have been done with defense contractors and that's how you kind of have to have work on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who else is going to know what to do?
Yeah.
You kind of have to get contractors on this thing. You're going to have to get the best and the brightest. You got a fucking UFO. All right, figure this out.
We haven't had support from the top in the past, right? So were I in such a position, you would have to have me working closely with the White House, and you would have to have the White House's buy-in on this. I think that's the only way. And from the top of the executive branch, you use that position of influence, you pass additional, presidential memorandums and executive orders that countermand previous memorandums that may have existed in the past in order to legally compel these organizations from the chief executive to be able to move the conversation forward, to require them to bring this information out, to require them to collaborate. And, it doesn't have to be a one-person job. You bring in some of the brightest people in our country in order to evaluate this data, come to a conclusion, and then share those conclusions with the American people.
Okay, let's imagine you get this position and you go through this search and you find out that this is all our technology and that we can't allow China or Russia to know that we're capable of using these kind of technologies that are unheard of right now. So we have to keep it as a national security secret. What do you do about that? Something like that?
I mean, ultimately, if the answer is that there is nothing unusual going on here, then we have to respect that, right? I mean,
but it is very unusual.
Well,
if you've got these things that are moving the way these things are moving and they're ours.
Yeah, and I don't think that's the case here, for all the reasons that we've discussed today.
Right.
So, ultimately, it's about finding the truth, right? It's not about finding your way to a conclusion that you already support.
Okay. I wonder what the world would be like if it was fully accepted, if disclosure was fully accepted. I wonder what the world would be like if, Trump gets into office, Trump has a press conference, he brings you up, you explain what we know. This is over the last 16 months, our team has discovered this, that, and that. We've personally investigated this, that, and the other. Where are the crashed ones? Okay, where the fuck are you guys hiding those? Because if that's real, that's the end.
Yeah.
All you have to do is bring the president to the crash site and, you bring him into the warehouse and you show him this thing and you walk around it and you go, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? That would be the end. All you'd have to do is just get a camera crew, go with them, Trump walking around a spaceship. Okay, we've been visited. Now we know. By whatever, by whoever. Maybe it's not even a visitor. Maybe it's always been here. Maybe it lives in the ocean. Maybe it's been monitoring us from there, and its sole purpose is, like I said before, custodian, to make sure we don't blow ourselves up. But either way, we should probably know that. We should probably know there's fucking bases in the ocean, because a lot of them, they've seen their transmedium. They move through the air and then they go into the water and they don't even make a splash. And so like, okay, what is that?
We would have for the first time, I think, a clear direction of where we need to go as a society. It would revamp our academic processes, our fields of study, our beliefs in religious structures. I don't think they would nullify it. I think they would probably amplify it. And it would, I think, have the equivalent impact of a positive nuclear bomb on our economy. We would have certainty in what direction